Good evening, Warriors, and welcome into another edition of the R&R Sports Report. I'm your host, Randy Isbell. With me, as always, Mr. Robert Hagan. Robert, man, what's up?
Man, lots of things going on. There is so much stuff happening.
No, there's nothing going on.
World Series. We didn't even cover enough of the World Series last week.
We covered it the last 90 seconds, I think, last week.
We got that going on. Clarkson girls soccer. We'll talk about that here in a couple minutes. But I'm more jacked. It's fight week, man. I am jacked for fight week out at the Clearwater Combat, out at the Clearwater River Casino. We'll talk about that here in a few minutes. But we got high school football tonight. We got MAC football tonight.
Yeah, the old Kansas tiebreaker going on. Lewiston was in that last year. It's Clarkston's turn this year. You're trying to listen to the radio while being on the radio. It's going to be an interesting thing. So Clarkston is what? It's Shadle Park and
Shadle
East
Park.
Valley or West Valley?
West Valley tonight. So game one is between Clarkson and Shadle Park. They just kicked off. Bantams are starting with the ball right now. They'll play 2 10-minute halves, and the winner of this one will move on to game number 2 against West Valley. So the winner of game number 2 will have an automatic win or automatic into state, into the state seeding and all that with the 16 teams. The loser of game 2, loser of game 2 will host on Friday or Saturday, depending on who is there. The loser of the first game will travel to Othello and play on Friday. So, so far, and like I said, just underway in at University High School. Clarkston's taking on Shadle. They did play 10 days ago. I went up and called that game. Clarkson ended up winning that one 24-17 on a big 76-yard punt return by Landon Taylor, who, shout out to Landon, ended up with Player of the Week from the Tribune. So shout out to him.
Section just went up today. So congratulations to him. Hopefully it goes out well. We'll try to keep you updated. Hopefully Robert's phone will be blowing up with different score updates. As you said, Clarkston girls soccer was able to win their regional game against Pullman yesterday, 1-0. It took them a little extra time. In the 84th minute, Rebecca Skinner with the game-winning goal. Sienna Newhouse was on the assist. So Clarkston will now be in the district finals. They will be taking on West Valley up there in Spokane at 3:30 on Wednesday. Both teams move on to crossover games, but it'll just be, I would guess, who hosts one and who has to go on the road for another. As you said, game 3 of the MLB World Series is going on right now. Middle of the 3rd inning, the Phillies are up on the Astros 4-0. This was a game that was supposed to be yesterday, but got rained out. So MLB's attempts to avoid football and take Thursday off and then be done before Sunday is now completely out the window, as now they'll play Thursday. And if game 7 is there, it's on Sunday night against the Tennessee Titans and Kansas City Chiefs. It's great. And then Steve Nash is out as the Brooklyn Nets basketball coach. So that is your NBA coverage that you will get here. That's
enough.
it.
Yeah, that's enough NBA for me.
All right, let's get to the fun.
Let's get to the fun. As I was just saying a few minutes ago, and love it. We love this time. These guys have been a huge part of where we're at now. They've got big fights this weekend. We've got Brian and Jared from Martial Arts America, and it's Clearwater Combat time, guys. Are you guys jacked, ready to go?
Absolutely, been ready to go for the past couple months now.
Well, we've been pushing it since I want to say early September when we got all of our stuff in and going over things. A lot of things have been kind of a whirlwind with you guys, the card changing a little bit, but talk a little bit about who each of you are going to be taking on. Well, let's go with that really quick. And both of you are doing pro fights now. So you're in the pro card, not on the I will call it the undercard, but Brian, you're taking on a guy you just said from Coos Bay.
Yeah, so I will be fighting Chris Inslee. He's a veteran of the sport. I know he's got probably north of 30 or 40 fights.
If not more.
Yeah, so he's been around for a while. This is my first pro fight, my pro debut. I'm really excited. I think so. I had 2 opponent changes in recent weeks. But I'm just a big person on focusing on what you can control.
Right.
I can't choose my opponent, but I can go in there and train every day, be as ready as possible for Saturday. I'm super excited.
And then Jared, you can kind of talk on it in a second, but obviously being your pro debut, is that a different mindset for you going from an amateur rank to an actual pro fight, or is it just another fight for you?
No, yeah, I think I take I've had the same mindset with training. I mean, I train 5-6 days a week, and nothing has really changed moving from amateur to pro. Just going in there, training every day, making sure I don't take rounds off. I've added some things as far as like nutrition, doing some more road work, running, because the rounds are a little bit longer. I go for 3-minute rounds up to 5-minute rounds. So really focusing on cardio. So running, weightlifting, adding some additional things, but yeah, really just at the gym 5 days a week like I have been for the past couple of years.
Right. You gotta put in that extra work outside of the dojo to succeed as a pro. For me, it definitely felt a little bit different, but it wasn't overwhelming. Like my first pro fight was a main event fight here in our hometown, and I thought I was going to have a lot of nerves going into this fight, that last fight, but I just felt comfortable in there. As far as the opponents and stuff, it doesn't matter, especially at a pro level. And not only that, but you're restarting your record at that point in time. So, you go 5-0 as an amateur, and then you jump over to pro, you're starting back at 0-0. So, yeah, and you can't go back on that. So you really got to put in the work if you want to succeed at the pro career.
Well, we were talking just before we went on air a second ago, and the whole where you're fighting in the heavyweight division, but you're trying to get this extra 5 pounds off. I mean, how is that? How hard is that to come in weight wise based on where you're supposed to be? I mean, you talking about it a minute ago, you said it's awful tough.
It's okay. So the older I get, the more.
Wait a minute. I'm the old man sitting here, so you don't have to say anything about age. I'm the old man.
So my first fight, it was funny because I was supposed to fight this guy. 265 is the weight limit for heavyweight. I forgot what happened. I think he backed out, but so I ended up taking a fight with another guy, and anyways, I guess the coach was stalking my Facebook page, and he's like, how big is that guy? Because I was kind of muscle bound at that point, fresh out of powerlifting, and my coach Frank told him, he's like, he's 250. I was like 280, 278, something like that. He goes, and this was like 2 weeks out, so I had to drop all that weight during that time, and it was very easy. I hit that 250 mark, very depleted. This time, it's like I've had a few weeks to do so. My original opponent was, we're going to do a catch weight fight. He was a lot heavier. And so I was like, oh, okay, I can eat what I want, do this and that. And then all of a sudden, that guy backed out. So you're fighting this guy. So get down to 255. And I'm like, great. I'm 280 right now. So it's been a little bit hard getting this last 5 pounds off. I've definitely had to clean up my diet a lot and up my cardio and my weight training. So it's been a tough one, but I think I can sweat this last bit out.
Well, you and I were talking as we were walking up, coming up here to the station earlier, that this is the first time that you'll have a couple days off from your regular job. You guys work regular jobs just like everybody else. So, I mean, this is something totally different. And you were telling me on the way up, this is actually the first time that you're only working 3 days. You're not working the day of the fight. I mean, how is that going to change a little bit of your mindset coming into the next 3 days?
I don't know. It's been kind of a tradition, working the day of my fight, like I get done. Like there was when I fought for the title, I got off of work and then I drove straight to Spokane to go fight this guy. And I was sick at this point and ended up coming out with the win. I was in the back, like huffing and puffing because I couldn't breathe. I was taking nose spray and I was like, Austin, dude, I can't breathe. He goes, well, you better finish it quick. I'm like, all right, went in there and got it done. But it's nice to have these couple days off. I'm still going to work. I'm still going to run up until that point just to keep my lungs open and my mobility on point. But it's going to be nice, I think.
And you said you talked about your title. Now, are you putting your title up, Brian? You had a title belt the last time you competed. Does that still stay on the shelf now that this is a pro fight?
Well, so yeah, that last fight I had was for the amateur welterweight title. And now that I've made the jump to pro, that's just something cool that I get to collect, keep on my wall. It was awesome to earn it, but yeah, I'm not going to be defending it now that I'm turning pro. So no, I get to keep a cool belt. I'm really proud of it.
Yeah, no, he's never going to be beat for that belt. That's just how that all works. So you were talking about how your opponent has changed. It seems like it's happened with multiple people. Dimitri went through a few. It seems like every time I talked to Austin, it was a different opponent was going on. He did give me the fight card earlier today, so I'm hoping that it has not changed in the last 4 hours. I don't think it has, so. But obviously just kind of go with your guys' opponents. It looks like you guys will be the last two fights on the card, but Brian, you first with Chris Inslee and just what you've seen from him.
So like we said, he's had more than probably 40 fights. I know Austin's fought him, Jesse Gangler in our gyms fought him, and one of my cornermen, Dave Pearson, has fought him as well. So I've got to see some of the things he does. I mean, I'm going into it expecting this is going to be a jump up in competition for me, no doubt. I do not take this fight lightly whatsoever. I know he's been in so many fights that the nerves probably don't get to him. And so I'm going in there for a game opponent, ready to execute what I need to get done.
My second fight as an amateur was against Paco Mora, a great guy, a good friend of mine. Comes to find out it's his uncle. Or this is his nephew that I'm fighting now. Yeah, he's had more fights than I have. I think this is his pro debut. So it should be a fun one. On paper, I just find my skills a lot better, but I never underestimate anyone because at heavyweight, all it takes is that one shot. You know, I got to be, ahead of the game on this one and just trust in the work that I put in the dojo and outside. So I'm excited to get in there and showcase my skills, maybe make it a little bit longer than my last one, but we'll see.
Now, obviously your pre-fight setup's going to be a little different, as you said, because you're not working, but what do you guys just do that last half hour before a fight? Do you have a routine you go through, or is it just it's time to go and you go out there and do it?
Pretty much. I mean, we warm up in the back before our fights. We get our hands wrapped and all that stuff. Typically, what I do most of the time is I just kind of pace around the backstage. Yeah. I pop my head out. I watch some fights, laugh about it, go in the backstage, check on everybody, kind of, make sure everybody else is good to go, because I know I'll be calm out there, but I know how the feelings is when you first start fighting and whatnot. So try to check on the team and stuff. But other than that, yeah, I just kick it in the back and walk around.
Yeah, it's interesting because this will be my fourth fight. So I've always noticed, like, leading up going to the arena or to the destination, my nerves are pretty high. But then once you get back there, you're around all the guys. I mean, you know what you're there for. And that's when my nerves start to calm down and confidence builds. And then in those last 30 minutes to an hour, you're pretty much just like itching. At least I am just like itching to fight.
Okay.
You're seeing the fights going on before you and you're just like, let's do this. Let's get in there. So that's usually how I'm feeling. Just ready to go. I mean, that's what you're there for. So.
Go in there and get it over with. Yeah. A lot of people want to get in there, first thing, get it done. And people like, you don't mind fighting last? I'm like, no, I like to sit back and watch everybody else do their thing. When I fought for the title, or was it the title? No, I was defending my title. Dimitri and Brian fought on that card, and they both got spectacular knockouts on that card. And I was like sitting there, I was like, all right, I gotta do something cool now, so it's motivating for me to watch my team succeed as well. So
now let's talk a little bit about the card for a minute. And right now, 11 bouts that was given to us earlier. So out of the first ones, so we know Dimitri's fighting out with you guys. The rest of the team, I'm drawing blanks on names with a couple of the guys.
We have Blaine.
Blaine Thomas is taking on Levi Roa.
Yep. And then we have
Connor White.
White.
Connor's fighting Zach.
Zach Trombetta.
Yeah, and then we got
Dylan Swearingen.
Dylan Swearingen and Melvin. I don't know.
Melvin Joy.
Melvin Joy.
Yes, him. They're fighting each other. And then we got who else?
I haven't seen the card, to be honest.
Well, let's just go down to the top one, and I don't know if this was in order of how they're fighting. I believe
this is what is set up as far as
Drake
fight
Randall.
Oh yeah,
is fighting
forget
Johnny James. That's gonna be that's gonna be a good one. I definitely want to see that one.
Shout out to Drake.
Yes,
Drake Randall. Any relation to Blake and those guys? That Randall family?
I have no idea.
He went to Lewiston.
Yeah, well, it must be part of. Must be part of Ed Randall. And, okay, yeah, part of that family, and so yeah. So we'll start at the first one. Levi Fahrenkamp is taking on Nate Gassi, I believe how you say his last name, and then Connor White versus Zach Trombetta. Melvin Joy taking on Dylan Swearingen, like you were saying. Blaine Thomas versus Levi Roa. Dimitri is taking on Michael Barrett. Dimitri was supposed to join us tonight, but he had some stuff going on with work and all that, so he didn't get a chance to join us. Then we got Tyler Hescock and Kenny Madruga.
That's gonna be a good one too.
Drake Randall and Johnny James, and then an amateur lightweight title, Owen Robinette and Joey Walker.
That's gonna be a good fight too.
That's gonna be Joey Walker. It's crazy. His coach was actually coached by our coach. And anyways, Carson Fry is his coach, and that Johnny Walker kid, he's a stud. Walker's a stud.
So saying out of all this, and we've seen Dimitri fight. I know what he can do, but that are you saying that one's this is going to be my fourth MMA bouts to watch, and each time it has gotten so much bigger and so much, and just totally, and just the atmosphere is so. And
that's one.
I was just say the big thing is atmosphere because, listen, the diversity of the music coming out of the speakers that you hear, walk up music. It's just crazy. Have you guys figured out what you guys are coming out to?
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, I'm keeping it the same.
The same?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I always change mine up.
Something different all the time.
Yeah, it's always whatever I'm feeling at the moment. Like I did some rap in the beginning, and lately it's been a lot of heavy metal type stuff. So,
No, saw one guy to come out like the old version of Rocky, not the Rocky theme, but like the High Hopes Rocky from the Rocky Balboa or some weird classical thing. Just it was like, obviously I'm not anywhere near the fight game, but if I was ever in that would be my whole thing, is to try to get into other guy's head. Like he comes out to this crazy music and I come out to Taylor Swift or something silly, just to make him like laugh. I was like, we see it in baseball. The Cleveland Guardian player coming out the SpongeBob SquarePants theme. That was his.
I messaged you when I heard that, and I was like, "This is ridiculous."
For a second, I wanted to do Bill Withers, just the two of us.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I think you should change it.
You're just like, what's
that
going
should
on
be your
here?
pro fight music.
But I did want to touch on one thing I'm really looking forward to. So my last fight in April was the first time I fought here in the Valley, and just the noise and the support. And when they say your name, the reaction from the crowd, usually I'm able to like tunnel it out. But that was the first time where I'm like, oh, wow, like I got people here that love me. And it's cool working at the high school. I've got a lot of high school kids that have come up to me saying like, hey, we're going to be at your fight. So it just adds another element to it.
Yeah, Haven's already messaged. He's got Brian across there. But yeah, Haven listening. I'm excited. I mean, just the energy to come up, even running into you and I met after your fight in Spokane the last time, and just you were so just it was just crazy.
It's overwhelming afterwards.
I'm excited because of where I'm sitting this time. I'm a little bit closer. I'm on second row, right behind Dimitri's family.
Oh yeah.
So I'm gonna right behind this whole
There's
group.
gonna be some energy there for sure.
They're between Woolard and all those guys that it's just crazy. And with that being said, I mean, you guys have a lot of sponsors and all that. So I know Dimitri has a few sponsors. I want to give you guys the opportunity to throw out some shout outs to your sponsors who help support your guys' fighting.
Oh yeah. So Ryan Turnbow and Printcraft Inc. He actually asked me before, I mean, I might have been after like my second amateur fight, and I was telling him like, oh, I'm not pro yet. I'll take it. He said, just let me know when it happens. And actually, when I made the jump to pro, I'm not the best at like reaching out. I'm still trying to like have that confidence. Like, okay, people really do support me and want to help me out. But he reached out before I did. And then Brian Auer and Owl Pharmacies, and then Hogan's Pub, Skate Pierce, one of my favorite establishments when I'm not in training camp. So yeah, and that's the Valley. Then also my family, Delgado Remodeling, Cavazos Glass. Yeah, everybody's been there to support, and those. So some of those funds I've really taken serious, like physical therapy, massage therapy, chiropractic work. So I mean, really investing in my body to kind of put out the best product I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. How about you?
Yeah, I wasn't very proactive on my sponsors and whatnot. For me, I'm really just I want to make a statement as far as being a fighter before I start taking on more responsibility of having to promote people and doing all that stuff. So just give a shout out to my team and my coaches and my family. Just everybody who supported me. You guys,
there you go. I love it. There you go.
He's just trying to butter us up until we finally get over there.
In the gym.
Well, yeah, there won't be a lot of buttering there, but
that scares me already.
Yeah,
I've been scared for months.
Yeah,
we're gonna get there. It's gonna get there with everything going on. It's just been crazy. So after this fight's over, we're gonna have a couple weeks. At least I'll have a couple weeks off to before basketball season starts up. So it'll be happening a lot sooner than later. So
we're there year round.
Yeah. And I'll say, man, the atmosphere in the gym just continues to increase. We're getting more guys in there, more talented guys in there that seem to be there to stay. You kind of get some people that come and go, but we've built a consistent group. Like the work that we're putting in on a day-to-day basis is like at an all-time. I'm loving what's going on at Martial Arts America.
We've been trying to get Austin on a few different times.
And he's busy.
It's just he's got class, and things have just been growing from everything. I mean, I saw pictures yesterday of classes that were happening, and it's phenomenal what's going on with Austin, what he's doing there. So
yeah, if you have nothing going on Saturday, you better hurry up. I know tickets are very limited. At this point, and maybe by tomorrow they might not even be available at this point. So get out there and get those tickets. Again, the doors open at 6 p.m. on Saturday. Clearwater River Casino, 11 fights, including many people from the Valley. It's going to be a lot of fun. I know you guys got to get up because my other job wants you for pictures and stuff. So I'll let you go so you can get up there. But guys, I very much appreciate your time as well.
Thank you.
Best of luck on Saturday. I did my best to try to talk my boss into letting me cover this, and it didn't happen. So best of luck up there. Robert will be there cheering you on, and I'll be keeping up with however it all went. We'll be talking about it on Tuesday.
Appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
Thank you.
This is we had a great time. Jared Fisher along with Brian McElroy.
Go Bantams. Go Bantams.
Go Bantams. Hey, with that being said, I did get a update here a couple minutes ago. It was 7-0 with 2:15 left to go in the first, and Shadle Park had the ball. So Bantams right now leading 7-0, getting ready to go into the second 10-minute half. So all right, appreciate it, guys. Listen, I am so excited about going out there and just watching the whole card. I mean, it is going to be
keep
crazy.
rubbing it in. Keep rubbing it in.
I know.
I wish. I tried all week, and it didn't work out in my favor. Some more score updates for you. Still 4-0 Phillies over the Astros. They are now through 4 innings. Nice job so far by the Phillies pitcher, Ranger Suarez, as he's only given up 2 hits through 4 innings, struck out 3 so far. 3 different home runs so far for Philadelphia. Harper, Bohm, and Marsh have all hit one over the fence. I've seen one highlight while we're getting set up. Philadelphia's rocking.
Yeah.
Just slightly. Also, first time this year I can say this. We have a MAC scoreboard update.
What?
I love the MAC
I
because
do
we get
too,
football
man.
all week long. Right now, Ball State is ahead of Kent State 20-13 in the third quarter, and at halftime, Ohio is over Buffalo 24-10. They've got 2 games tomorrow, do the MAC, and then a couple other conferences come in. So we've hit that point of college football where we've got games
All the time.
every day. I mean, because you got Monday Night Football from the NFL, and then from then on, college football, something's on.
Love
and it all works out for sure.
I was a little disappointed, and maybe this is just because I'm cheap. And go ahead and say I'm cheap.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have Amazon Prime, and I don't have ESPN Plus. I pay enough with my Dish network, so that, but I can't watch some of these games that are like.
Well, you can't watch them anyways because Dish keeps taking off all these different sports channels.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. I still haven't got Root back. I'm gonna have to make a change. I mean, I'm gonna have to, but I got up early. Sleeping schedule has been way off, and I was wide awake. I'm gonna be able to watch Jacksonville, and Denver. I thought, it'll be okay. First, might as well watch it. ESPN Plus.
Yep, everything's getting spread out a bit more, and I've been okay with the Amazon Prime coverage. Obviously, they got some good commentators there when the stream works. I mean, sometimes it's hit or miss. It is really funny though, because I'm usually working at the casino on Thursdays. So I am watching the game on my laptop.
Right.
And I am 2 or 3 plays ahead of the poker TV. Because Lancers had to go buy like 4 or 5 different Roku sticks.
Right.
So they can get Prime. So I'm 2 or 3 plays ahead of the poker TV. The poker TV is a player 2 ahead of the casino TV that they have hooked to the Roku, which is 2 or 3 plays ahead of the bar. So I can just walk through and watch the same play. For 10 minutes.
And I was going to go and watch my game on Thursday, and I decided I know NFL. I didn't look at my phone. I know NFL Network replays it, so I just went in, set the replay, and watched it substantially later because we were doing other things, finishing getting things planned out with that. But it's the same with the Washington State game. I mean, record and then just fast forward it, but nothing impressive with that game.
No, we'll talk about that probably here in a little bit. Let's hit on some NFL. Your team did win.
Yes, they did.
On Thursday, so we don't need to talk about any of that.
They did.
They defeated Tampa Bay 27-22. Tampa Bay, we've seen many teams turn it around, struggled for the first half of the year and get things going. I'm getting to that point with the Buccaneers where I'm like, I don't know if they're turning this around. Like, they just seem off. It's the same with Green Bay right now, where it's like, yes, they have that veteran quarterback that can get things going, but win. Yeah.
Well, I think the bigger thing was it didn't matter what Tampa Bay's defense did. I mean, Baltimore rushed all over him, 231 yards, and the one touchdown that came from the running staff came from a wide receiver running an end around. So I mean, but to be able to just pound the ball against them was really good. I mean, Brady put up Brady numbers.
No, he didn't.
325.
He's throwing the ball too much. Him having 44 attempts in that game is just too much.
Yeah. I don't remember. And Fournette didn't have, but I want to say 12 touches, 13 touches.
I mean, I know they got down early, but not by that much needed to start scrambling. And they got to find some balance. And they just don't have it right now. Probably the game of the week, which turned out to be a game that had a lot on the line, which both of these statements make no sense when I talk about this game. Atlanta and Carolina. Atlanta winning 37-34 in overtime. DJ Moore making an insane catch late in the fourth quarter to what did tie it up, right? And then the extra point would have given them the lead. Yep, that's what it is.
Yep.
So they tie it up with the touchdown, need the extra point, but he took his helmet off. I'm just going to say it right now. Can we take that off as a penalty?
You would think so.
Please. I know it's a safety thing, but when the play is over, they should be able to take their helmets off and celebrate.
Well, I think he was like almost a yard past the back of the end zone too. When
Yeah,
he had it up, so
I don't like the call, but then it pushes the kick
Listen.
back. They missed the extra point.
we'll talk about another dumb call in a minute.
And then overtime happens, and Carolina has a chance to win it. They missed the field goal, so you can't even really get on DJ Moore for this.
Nope.
Atlanta's able to get the win, and they are now leading the NFC South.
That's
Who
just
would have
crazy.
known?
That's just crazy, especially with Baltimore taking on New Orleans this week, and yeah, it's gonna be a little crazy what happens in the South now.
The Lions continue to be much better at home than on the road, but they do lose to Miami 31-27. I bring this game up just for how good Miami's defense was in the second half and just how good Tyreek Hill and Mr. Waddle are as a duo. And they're making Tua look fantastic. Tua is impressing me more than I was thinking he was going to this year. Obviously, he was injured there for a little bit with the concussion, but nearly 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. The bigger thing to me, only 7 incompletions.
Yep.
But Hill and Waddle combined for nearly 300 yards on 20 catches, a couple of touchdowns as well. That's a dynamic duo. And Miami, if everyone can stay healthy, I mean, they made a couple moves here that we'll talk about the trade deadline. Miami's offense is pretty good.
Yeah, they're looking really good, especially with now. And I hate saying it because I've been was 100% behind your team and what was going on with.
I still love him.
And with Breach Hall, Brees Hall getting hurt,
we miss him,
and we miss him. But Miami's making a statement. They're ready to play. They're ready to go to town, and maybe it's the new coach. I could it be Miami's year to get in the playoffs and make a push? We'll see.
Yeah, it's definitely tempting. One team that I think the push is over. It's Las Vegas Raiders. They get shut out against New Orleans. New Orleans has not thought about a great defense.
You and I both
last couple of years.
You and I both took Las Vegas this week.
My picks the last few weeks have been horrible for the NFL.
We'll talk about it.
Honestly, looking at my overall record for last week, it was way better than what I was expecting.
8-7.
It was way better than what I was expecting looking at some of these games.
Both of us went 8-7, but that one was one that we both major missed on that one.
Yeah, Kamara was fantastic. Kamara almost had more yards than the Raiders did.
Almost.
Period. We'll talk about the eliminator picks. Raiders are a nominee for sure. You talked about my Jets. They do lose to New England 22-17. All I have said all year is, or at least with Zach Wilson coming back, he's not throwing interceptions. He's not making mistakes. They're running the ball, and he's doing a good job of scrambling and just getting rid of the ball. He did not do any of that on Sunday. He threw 3 interceptions. 2 of them were horrendous interceptions. Give credit to the defensive pass rush for the Patriots for making them feel uncomfortable, but the kid that was throwing the ball away no longer was. He has his first 300-yard passing game, but way too many mistakes against a decent enough Patriots team. And it just sucks because that New York Jets defense is so good. They sacked Mac Jones 6 times. They held the Patriots to 5 field goals when the Patriots' average starting field position was the 45-yard line.
Yeah.
So the defense is great. The running game is still good. We'll see if James Robinson gets more acclimated to the team. Tough loss, but it's one of those where you just look at everyone's going to have a bad performance.
Yeah.
The Jets are not good enough to bounce back from a bad performance from Zach Wilson. And listen, I'm worried. I'm worried about our sophomore quarterback right now about being the real deal or not. How about the real deal? I missed Philadelphia Eagles. Phillies are real deal up 4-0 still, but Eagles and AJ Brown straight dominated Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I watched that game for the most part. I didn't leave that until at halftime, but just to watch what AJ Brown was doing to that defense of Pittsburgh, you knew at the end of this game that Pittsburgh was just gonna start pulling off. And and with Claypool now leaving, I think they're just going to try to play for a spot now. But the Eagles, Jalen Hurts can throw the ball.
Yeah.
He can throw the ball quite well. 285 yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 to Brown himself. And I kept watching our buddy Rob Dunn. We should have paid him more. No, he got traded out.
No, he would have never done anything in Tennessee. They don't throw the ball.
Exactly.
We'll talk about them right now as the Titans do beat the Texans 17-10. Ryan Tannehill's not there. So Mr. Malik Willis starts. I will steal another thing from Tom Grossi because I love watching his stuff every week. He is worried about Malik Willis having carpal tunnel from doing that same handoff motion over and over. As he only threw the ball 10 times for 55 yards. He threw an interception in there. But Derrick Henry owns the Houston Texans. When he retires, whoever owns Houston should just hand him the team. 45 or 32 of the 45 carries, 219 yards, and 2 touchdowns for Derrick Henry. They get a bit of a tougher matchup come Sunday night. How about San Francisco? I don't want to go too overblown with this because we both got this pick wrong again.
Yeah.
But they do continue to own the Rams, which is just surprising how 2 good teams and one team just dominates the other. But they went 31-14, but it was Christian McCaffrey that really stood out to me. Touched the ball 27 times, is the first player since LaDainian Tomlinson back in 2005 to have a rushing, receiving, and passing touchdown.
And it wasn't a short pass either. That's the bigger thing. I'm a 34-yard pass.
Yeah, he's so good. He's going to be a difference maker. We'll talk about it in the power rankings. Deebo Samuel's still not back.
Nope.
Now, McCaffrey has to stay healthy for the 49ers, which is easier said than done. 49ers could be really, really dangerous.
Well, I think they could be. I mean, they're only, 1 game back of the leading Seattle Seahawks.
What is happening there?
I need to bite my tongue after what I said there. I mean, Seattle Seahawks was leading that one, but listen, I think that division is still going to be up for anybody, especially with DeAndre.
Except for Arizona.
Well, DeAndre had a good game.
Yeah.
Came back, second game back, had a decent game. Just not sold on what Kyler Murray's doing this year. Just some of the plays he's running, it just and the way they are, him and Kingsbury are arguing so much on time management, clock management. That's the biggest thing they need to do to clean up their game.
Speaking of the Seahawks, they do beat the Giants 27-13. So I get my game back. I lost on Thursday night. So you and I do split in our picks this week. The big thing is the Seahawks defense continues to impress. Over the last week or 2 or 3 weeks. They were really, really bad to start this year. That's why we were talking about their cornerback so much. It's because he was one of the few Seahawks defenders that were playing fantastically. They're shutting teams down. They shut down Barkley to just 53 yards rushing. Geno Smith continues to be consistent. He's not bombing the ball all over the place, but he knows he has Lockett and he knows he has Metcalf, who Metcalf is a freak. Every time a game gets done, it's like Metcalf is out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Nope.
Scratch that. Metcalf is starting.
And then
he does well.
Yeah, and he had a touchdown within the first the first quarter of the game.
I hate to say it.
Wide open in the back.
I hate to say it. Seahawks are a true playoff contender. I don't think we eliminate Seattle until maybe the last week or two, if we even have a chance to.
We're after this next week. We're halfway through the season.
Yep.
So I'm okay where we are pick wise right now in our eliminator, but I'm still not sold 100% now with San Francisco, what they've done. Moves.
That's fine.
And so,
well, I mean, really, it's who's going to be more real, Seattle or the Giants?
Score update before we get there. CHS is up 10-0.
Nice.
Kansas tiebreaker. Where do we go? You said.
I'm just saying, it was Seattle.
Right.
Who's more real, them or the Giants? Obviously, Seattle beat the Giants. But even if San Francisco becomes that team, what are the other wild cards? You're not going to get any wild cards out of the NFC South.
No,
that's a guarantee.
Correct.
Green Bay will really have to turn things around if they're going to end up with a wild card or catch Minnesota to win that division. I'm starting to not see that at all. Obviously, Philadelphia and Dallas, I think, are going to compete for the NFC East. The other team will be that top wild card, most likely.
I would agree with that.
So then you're going Rams, Seahawks, Giants as 2 of those 3 would make the playoffs right now.
I would think so.
So who's more real? Seahawks, Rams, or Giants?
Listen, I'm going to go back, and the only reason I'm going to go back this way is because of the fact is they've given him it's a put up or shut up kind of year with Daniel Jones, and Daniel Jones has played quite well. This game, not so much. Against, I think this might have been one of the better teams that he's faced so far this year, but he he didn't look near as mobile. But I think I'm going to still stick with the Giants first.
That's the one I bump. Giants are the one I bump, is because most of their games have been really close. They've escaped a couple of games. I mean, good on them for doing so,
but look at the running back issues you still have with the Rams. You've got Cooper Kupp.
Cooper Kupp being hurt could be a big thing.
Maybe a big thing. Higbee did not put up hardly any numbers in the game the other day, so I would lean right now. The Rams would be out for me, but we're only in week 9 now with an 18 week league, 17 games. It could be.
And just looking at it, I mean, you're the schedule guy, but the Giants are on a bye this week,
right?
Then it's Texans, Lions, so they could easily be 8-2 at that point, and then they face the Cowboys, the Commanders, the Eagles, the Commanders in 4 straight division games. You never know,
right?
But maybe go 2-2, maybe 1-3 there. Then Vikings, Colts, Eagles to end it. That's a pretty tough stretch at the end, but. Yeah. We will see. I mean, you get to 8-2, and you got to feel like you were going to make the playoffs there for sure. Buffalo beats Green Bay on Sunday Night Football. Nice to see the Packers run the ball.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones running. That's what they should have done, period. So, I know our buddy Robert Taylor was getting on me because I guess Josh Allen had a bad second half. We bowl, so I only watched here and there. They dominated the first half and then just kind of put it in second gear from what I'm seeing.
And that's what happened because I was messaging with Doof today. Because Doof and I played I played against him this week in fantasy. I ended up beating him by 1.34 points.
Oops.
Because Buffalo just kind of stopped in the second half.
And you cannot do that against good teams. Luckily, Green Bay is no longer a good team.
Right.
But something to have to worry about. They almost did that with Kansas City as well. So I still think Buffalo is the top of the class. But they got to be careful. They can't be letting their foot off the gas too early in these games. And then Cincinnati just got rolled by Cleveland. I'm slightly worried for Cincinnati without Jamar Chase, but Jamar Chase isn't blocking anybody. That offensive line was really bad. So they got to get that shored up. It is a divisional game, and those things can be crazy. It is the NFL in 2022,
right?
Which has been absolutely insane.
Garbage.
So I'm not going to overreact and say, Cincinnati's just done now, because everyone's going to have these kind of games. If we were like this, we would have wrote off Kansas City when they lost to Indy. So I'm not writing them off just yet, but there were some concerns on Monday night.
Yeah, and we didn't even talk about Indy and the Washington Commanders and what Heineke did in that game. Come back. And,
Washington is hanging in there. I mean, Indy what a bad AFC Championship loser pick by me. What was the other call you were talking about?
I laughed about the most hated, the guy I hate the most referee for the NFL, Jerome Boger.
Oh, you're him saying Mariners instead of Seahawks. That is such the lamest thing.
But the way he calls a game, officiates a game, his team throws the most penalties in all of the officiating crews in the NFL.
Well, at least you know it's coming. And they're consistent with it. By the way, Kyle Schwarber just hit a 2-run home run. Phillies are now up 6-0 on Houston. So anybody that thought Houston was going to roll this World Series has been gravely mistaken.
Well, I told you I thought it was going to be 7 Phillies and 7.
Mm-hmm.
So far,
yeah, I forget what I said. I think I said Houston and 5.
I think you did say Houston and 5.
And so I was mistaken, and I'm okay to be in that. Let's get to our power rankings. My top 3 stay identical to what they have been the last couple weeks. Buffalo 1, Philadelphia 2, Kansas City 3. Dallas will move up 1 spot from 5 up to 4 as I drop Cincinnati out of my top 5 for now. And you know what? I will overreact. San Francisco has looked really good. I don't care that they're 4-4.
Mm-hmm.
They are a very scary team right now, so they're number 5.
Yeah, I'm okay with that right now. I'm keeping the first 4 the same as what I did last week. I still like Buffalo with what Josh Allen's doing with Diggs and all that. I'm keeping Philly at number 2, but I that could easily flip at any time with that ball club, what they are doing. So I keep Kansas City 3. They were on the bye. I am keeping 4 with Minnesota. I think I could have bounced them up just a little bit. And I know you got on me last week about it because I still was a non-believer. Still not 100%. But I was impressed what Tony Pollard did. I was impressed with what Dak did and what they did against that ball club. So I put Dallas at number 5. So hear me.
It's about time.
Dallas at number 5. So
join the sad people that have to say Dallas is decent.
I know.
The NFL trade deadline was today, and it didn't stink.
No, it didn't.
It was okay. I think people are overreacting, saying, "Oh, this was a fantastic trade deadline." No, it was all right. It's good for what we're used to in the NFL, but still, today was nothing like what we see in Major League Baseball or the NBA by any means. Just run through some of the picks. One of the bigger ones was Chubb, not Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb from Denver. He ended up going to Miami, and then I deleted that somehow. Or where did it go? There we go. Yeah. Bradley Chubb goes to Miami along with a 2025 5th-round pick. So we're getting into NBA territories with these draft picks in the future. Silly. Denver does get running back Chase Edmonds, 1st-round pick next year, and a 4th-round pick. So it's the 5th time ever a player has been traded midseason for a 1st-round pick that year. Thoughts on Miami getting Bradley Chubb?
I think that's going to shore up the defense a lot more. I'm impressed with what they are doing, and especially with Tua getting more involved with everything. Just Tyreek Hill, what he's bringing to Tua and making him look like their tight end looking good. Another touchdown from him this weekend. So I'm going to be one of these ones that I think they make the playoffs, and they might sneak in and scare you to the point of making it to possibly the conference championship.
I don't know if they are Buffalo, Kansas City level.
It'll be interesting.
I mean, they're better than Baltimore.
Listen now.
Reese Hoskins just homered back-to-back with Kyle Schwarber, so now 7-0. Philadelphia is winning.
Wow.
A couple other moves. Obviously, Chase Edmonds leaves Miami, so they trade for Jeff Wilson from San Francisco, just to add to that. A very interesting move, Calvin Ridley, who is suspended for the year, gets traded to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's looking towards the future. Right. I think if a team's going to do that, the Jaguars are a perfect fit. Jaguars give up a 5th-round pick this year and a conditional 2nd-round pick in 2024. So I believe it's a 4th-round pick to start. If Ridley plays so many games, then it moves to a 3rd-round pick. And if they can sign Ridley long-term, then it becomes a 2nd-round pick. So they're not really giving up anything this year.
Right.
If Ridley continues to do Ridley things and does not be able to come back and play, then they're not really giving up anything the year after. It's a gamble for the Jaguars for a very, very good receiver.
Yeah, a big gamble, but like you're saying, they're planning for the future, and the way that we didn't get to see him last year and the way he has performed so far the last few games, Travis Etienne looks He's going to be a stud.
Yeah.
He's going to be a big stud. I mean, almost 156 yards in the game against Denver over in London. It just was weird to see his name come up, especially when he wasn't playing.
Surprised as well. Obviously, Atlanta doesn't feel like they're a year away. Like Jacksonville seems to think so. So they didn't mind getting rid of him. And obviously, he's been a headache for that franchise too. But for Jacksonville, I totally get it. Because talent-wise, Calvin Ridley is better than most of the wide receivers you're going to pick in the first round next year. So if things work out, you just traded a fifth and a second to get a first round talent next year on top of your pretty good first round pick you're going to have already.
Right. Yeah.
A big one to me, and this might be the biggest deal trade wise. I know Bradley Chubb is pretty big for Miami, but TJ Hawkinson staying in the NFC North, but going from the Lions to the Vikings to be kind of that dump-off guy for Kirk Cousins. He's been fantastic in Detroit. He's had some really big games this year. I think this is a big move for the Vikings.
Yeah, I think it's huge just to get some more depth. I like what Minnesota is doing this year. They just have been impressive. With the decline of what's happening in Green Bay, this might be one of those ones that's going to put them ever so closer to getting through. Like you were saying, who runs away with it in the NFC? You've got San Francisco. LA is not playing up to par with what they're doing. So this could move them up.
And the Vikings have a great record.
Up in the standings. It could be that.
And you have them in your top 5. I still don't, but this is definitely going to help them. Earlier on, or was it late last week? Ravens were able to get linebacker Roquan Smith from Chicago. Was that earlier today?
Earlier today, yeah.
I can't remember. It all gets all blended together.
Early today.
Thoughts on that one?
I like it. Cheer up the defense a little bit more. You knew Smith was a little upset after I'm clueless on the other move Chicago made. Their other linebacker they lost out, Robert Quinn. So I'm just shocked with what Chicago is doing. They just seem to be, let's just keep dumping.
That was fine to me, but then, because they made a couple moves. Robert Quinn, like you said, to Philadelphia for a 4th round pick. They got a 2nd and a 5th round pick from Baltimore for Smith, but then they give up a 2nd round pick for Chase Claypool. So are you buying or are you selling, Chicago? Claypool's decent, but it's just an interesting move.
Yeah.
Kadarius Toney going to Kansas City, I think, could be a sneaky move for the Chiefs down the line. He was a highly touted first-round wide receiver that has just struggled with the Giants, and now being able to move to Kansas City and basically being kind of the 3 or 4 for the Chiefs would be absolutely fantastic. So we will see there. Couple key games next week. You have 6 teams on bye. I think this is the only week that 6 teams happen, but Cleveland, Dallas, Denver, the Giants, Pittsburgh, and San Francisco all will get the week off. What is that big game for you?
For me, I think looking at everything going on, I want to say it's Tennessee, Kansas City.
I stole it.
You look at the other one that might stick out to me, would be a divisional matchup with Buffalo and the Jets. But I think there's just
if Breece Hall was still around, I was looking forward to that game. No Breece Hall. I'm now back to the sad Jets fan. Which, by the way, even if the Jets get blown out by 97 points on Sunday, they're still 5-4, and nobody would have predicted they were going to be 5-4 going into their bye week. I'm still happy overall, but I'm not looking forward to Sunday. To me, I want to see which team could possibly be for real, Minnesota or Washington. Washington has got some sneaky wins lately. Minnesota has escaped with some wins lately. I think this could be a tough game for the Vikings, even with TJ Hawkinson. So
it might be in the way Heineke's playing the last couple games. So
that might be one of those games I try to use to gain a game on you.
Yeah, 3:36 left to go in the first game up at University High School between Clarkston and U High. Bantams lead 10-7, and they just had an onside kick recovered by Shadle Park.
Ooh.
And then before I even get this out of my mouth, I get another text, interception by Mr. Brown. So the Bantams now have the ball.
Crazy stuff going up there.
Yeah.
Thursday night football pick. Philadelphia Eagles at the Houston Texans.
Do you have dinner plans for that night? Yeah, I mean,
I work.
What do you work?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I watch the World Series. I actually want to see what the ratings will be like.
I have to bowl too. So
yeah. So you got a NFL game on Amazon Prime, which is not, primetime TV.
I don't have that.
It's the Houston Texans.
I'm sorry.
Against Game 4 of the World Series.
I know what's going to be on in the bowling center. It'll be baseball.
Yeah, but I'm just curious now, which is going to get the higher rating. It's always the NFL.
It's normally the NFL, but when it's Philly versus Houston, though, who's going to want to watch?
I just realized that it's Philly versus Houston in both the NFL and MLB.
Yeah,
that's dumb. That's really dumb.
And that's the thing. They're Houston there, but they'll be in Philly.
They'll be in Philly for baseball.
Philly for baseball. So
I'm taking the Eagles. Home team on Thursday night. It does not work when the Texans are the home team.
Not at all. So
I am too scared to take Houston as my loser pick in our loser pool, just because they are the home team. But
is that why you did Tennessee, Kansas City?
That's why I took Tennessee. You got to take some risks at some point for some of these.
Listen,
better
I'm
teams.
still steaming from taking Carolina last week and them getting the win.
Right.
In week number 8, or excuse me, week 7. So I'm still bitter about that.
Our eliminators. So far, I have taken 4 AFC teams and 4 NFC and 3 AFC. So I'll take a 4th AFC team. I was really tempted to take the Raiders. I will hold off at least for one more week. My Jacksonville Jaguars just have no chance. So I'm going to eliminate them.
I've left them still just because of the way ETN was going. And I kind of did it to keep it balanced out. I had taken 4 AFC teams and had 3 NFC teams. So I think I'm pretty well good set after Chicago decides to unload a couple of players. Claypool is not going to be the answer there. No. So week 8, I'm taking Chicago Bears as my eliminator.
And I had eliminated in week 6. So we have both eliminated 4 from each conference. Again, 9 from each conference will not make the playoffs. So we're about halfway through.
Yep.
It's getting there quickly. We'll skip through high school football and college football. We will touch on those as we get into our picks and such. Let's get into some LC stuff before we introduce our next guests. But volleyball had their senior night on Saturday.
I'm bummed I didn't get to be here for senior night.
You missed all the crying. There was
did.
lots of crying, and little of it was from the seniors. It was a lot of the underclassmen that were shedding the tears. But they do get the sweep. They beat Warner Pacific and Multnomah. Big final regular season weekend as they will take on number 3 Corbin on Friday and then Bushnell on Saturday. 6 teams make the postseason. They're now in a 3-way tie for 4th, 2 games ahead of 7th and 8th. So just got to win 1. You win 1 and you're in.
Yeah, win 1. And it's going to be a tough weekend. You've got Corbin, you've got Bushnell. So it's going to be interesting, both of them on the road. So it's going to be I don't want to call it a struggle, but it's going to be a tough dogfight, especially with that senior class that is leading for. So what Cassidy Nelson can do, Kinsey Dean can do with this ball club, but more impressed with the middle blockers coming with Jada Wims and them, Brescia, even doing the game Friday. They're working the Friday game. It was crazy watching her with, I believe she had 4 kills in a row on a Kinsey Dean service there during game number 1, and just watching those girls and what they were doing, it was phenomenal. So they're hitting their stride, and that was one thing talking with Coach Sean Pullman. Him and I pregame to that was, when we're on, we're good. When we're off, we're off a lot. And so I think they shored that up a lot on Friday and Saturday this week.
All right. While I switch some stuff over, since they're already here, why don't you go ahead and introduce our next guest?
Well, I'm got to get to the spot here. Got a couple of LC boys here tonight, basketball players joining us here. Kai Warren and Silas Binion. How are you, gentlemen?
We're doing good. We're doing good. I'm great. I'm chilling.
They're first time on the show, so welcome.
Yes, sir.
And don't have to call me sir, right? I mean, I'm an old man, but
all right, Kai,
sir is
I'm
my
going to
dad.
do two things. I'm going to scoot you over just a little bit to your left,
There you
and
go.
then make sure you're talking right into that. That microphone's not the best.
Bet.
Oh, there
You're
you go.
good. You're good. There we go.
So we're just now underway in the basketball season. How are you guys feeling about it so far?
We got a long way to go, but I'm feeling good. I think,
Very excited.
yeah, very excited. Lots to look forward to. Just like a new team, a lot of new guys, and I think it should all come together by hopefully as soon as possible. But
All right, Silas, have you scooted there?
Oh, yeah,
too.
yeah.
You're good. You're good. Yeah, trying to get things moved around. It's not very often we're using all four mics, and we've done it
Yeah.
twice today, so we're having some fun.
I got you.
But obviously, you got the win against Seattle in the exhibition game, kind of worked some stuff out. Silas, you and I had kind of talked earlier or last week about the lack of depth we had with the injuries and stuff. Then you go down to Arizona,
Mhm.
tough one against the number one team in the country, but to me that's a good first test to try to get your feet wet a little bit and kind of learn what you have and don't have. What'd you learn from that trip?
I learned that we have a lot to learn.
Yeah?
Yeah. Just on the defensive end, the pace that ACU played with, obviously they're a really good team, but we need to step it up on that end. And then offensively, I thought, again, with their pace and how they made us play a different style of basketball that we're not used to. But yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, he pretty much covered it, but I think it was a great test just because, like, playing the number one team in the country as your first real game, like, that was kind of like a stage for us, like what the national tournament's going to be like.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like the standard we got to, like, these past couple of weeks or this next week in practice is like, that's the standard we got to have. Just like we just got dogged by ACU, but this is the
Mhm.
I don't know
So
how to say it.
that's what we're gonna play.
Yeah,
those
exactly.
type of teams.
Those type of teams are going to pressure us. They're going to knock us out the rhythm, but we're gonna figure it out for sure. I'm excited.
You talk about a lot to learn. I mean, the youth, and let's talk
Right.
about you, the only returning senior. Then you've got graduate student Keegan Crosby.
Yeah,
I mean, the rest of the club are freshmen, sophomores for the most part.
right.
So there's still a lot of youth on this team, especially playing together.
Right. Yeah. That's going to be the biggest challenge, I think, for us. Just playing bigger because we do have a lot of forwards out right now. We got Brendan Newsome, Eton with an unfortunate injury, Hugh, which is a great shooter for us. Will just got hurt this last week as well. So I think playing bigger than we are, playing more experienced, and just like letting the game come to us, like play the way we want to play. And that's a big message coach gives us during practice as well.
So one of the big things that I noticed, doing the play-by-play for that Seattle game is you have more newcomers than returning players on the squad, as a lot of people have left and had a couple seniors move on. How long does it take to kind of get that team to mesh? I mean, obviously
every group's different,
right?
Sure.
How is this group meshed so far?
I think off the court, we're actually you got this one.
Yeah, I mean, off the court, great. I think that's what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
That was a quick pass. Did you saw?
Yeah, this is how good they are.
Come on, that's my guy. But off the court, great group of guys. Like no animosity, no jealousy. I know basketball can get that way. I played on teams like that, and I don't feel any type of way with this team, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
On the court, I mean, you see, last year is a little different, but like we really didn't become the team we became until when February, right? So we lost all those games. It's like, so I mean, Kev got hurt, whatever, but like it might not be till the last minute, and not that that's like a good thing. Obviously, you want to figure it out as soon as possible so you can just play great basketball. But like the most important thing for us, and we know this, is playing your best basketball like towards those last few months, weeks, is the most important. But we'll see. I think we'll figure it out sooner this year, hopefully. But no,
Yeah. Just to piggyback, I think we're starting to figure it out. I think we are. I think this group of guys is more invested in trying to work together, I guess, and trying to like not conform but buy in to to our principles, defensively, offensively. But it's just tough.
It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Like y'all think like, I should have done this, but it's taking that next step and actually
applying.
Exactly. Applying it, taking that step.
Now talking to Austin, he had told me that not much that he was doing was going to change, or it was more similar than he thought it was going to be. But he went down and coached with Popovich for the NBA Summer League and went through that stuff. Obviously, you guys were under Austin last year. Have practices changed since he went down there and experienced that, or is it just kind of the same old, same old?
Hey, not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Yeah.
I think what we do works. I know I believe in it. Like I've seen firsthand going to the national championship game, hitting the national tournament last year. No, not much has changed, man. Much has changed.
That was a surprising thing I had from him was he goes, I went down there and they say the same stuff that we do.
Right.
So
right. I don't think anything's really changed, but I would say his approach, the way he deals with players, has definitely changed. Has definitely improved, I would say. Yeah.
With that being said, with this being a new group, and I know for me dealing with announcing, Clarkson's games for so long and doing some listening, terminology has to be a big thing with you guys. Was there a lot of different changes with terminology this year with a newer set of guys, or kind of the same?
Only for the new guys.
Right.
I mean, like for us, I know for me, being here, this is my third year. It's like clockwork, man.
Right.
Yeah.
All the terminology, everything. It's just,
well, with that being said, I mean, how much time do you guys spend? Do you guys spend a lot of, video time or book time, watching a lot of film, or even, I know dealing with Clarkson coach Justin Jones. I mean, they got a lot of time where they spend a lot of chalk time doing stuff. What does it look like for you guys?
I mean, this week, Monday we watched our game on ACU. Today we watched a little bit of film on Park. Tomorrow we're probably gonna watch film. Thursday we play. Friday we gotta prepare for Rocky, and then we probably Saturday. I'm not gonna say Sunday, but Monday we'll probably watch that film again.
Right.
And then next team. So we watch film more than any school I've been to. I went to a JUCO before this, and even in high school we didn't watch this much film. But I love it. He's very meticulous with everything he does. Yeah. So it makes you take the game a lot more serious.
Right.
We're gonna prepare, that's for sure.
Yeah. Be ready.
So with that preparing and how much time you guys put with the film room and practice and stuff, obviously still college, and you go into classes and everything. And I think maybe even two classes with Silas. About one of the classes I get switched. Are you in the programming class with me, or is it the other Silas I'm with? I was
Programming, that's crazy.
It's making me feel real dumb. It doesn't take much to make me feel dumb, but that class, every time we have a lab, I'm like, oh, I can't get this down at all.
Yeah.
But how has that been going for you guys as far as classwork goes? And have you been able to find a good balance this year? Or?
Yeah, shoot, I've been chilling.
Yeah,
I've been chilling. I've been doing great.
Stuff is easy.
Nah, it's not easy. Like I'd say that midterm week, or like kind of 2 weeks, that was rough. Like I was pretty stressed. But when it's just like the regular weeks, it's pretty much like clockwork. It's just like, all right, got this assignment. So
Are you more online based in class based? Which you prefer?
I only have one class in person.
Oh yeah.
And I have 6 classes. So I mean, I think my first year here was kind of tough just to figure out like you got to figure out your routine for classes,
Mhm.
but also you're trying to get better at basketball. So you got to find the time to get work in before practice or after practice while still balancing that homework and training room and stuff like that. But this year it's like it's been easy for sure. Like go to weights, shoot a bit, go home, take a nap, go to practice. Like, it's nice. Go home, do some homework. Like, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just gonna say you guys both come from larger schools. You're coming from Poulsbo area, and that you coming from
Gang.
you coming from Eugene. Huge difference to make your way to, North Idaho.
You're telling us, man. You're
Eastern
telling us.
Washington.
Yeah.
Well, how was it for you guys to adjust to that kind of change?
I mean, for me, I've never been one to be like out in the city, you know what I mean, doing a lot. And Paulsbo, have you been to Paulsbo?
It has been probably
Some
15 years.
Yeah. So Paulsbo is not that big, you know. It's
Well, it's bigger than here. I would
I think
think.
you guys have more. You guys have 32. We have like 12.
Is it? Yeah.
But Paulsville got all the surrounding areas.
I
It's
think
like,
that's
We
where
do.
you think you
Yeah.
got so much more
Okay, we
surrounding
do.
stuff.
But I'll say when I'm in Paulsbo, I'm mostly spending time with my family and my hometown friends. So it's kind of like the same here. When I'm here, I'm just at the crib, at the house, or I'm chilling with the guys. So
Yeah.
Thank you for fixing that. He's old. He doesn't know what any of that means.
Listen, just because I'm going to be 50 in 2 years doesn't mean anything.
hey, come on. Lewiston's a great spot though.
yeah,
It's good.
It's
It's
cool.
grown on me. It's
Yeah?
grown on me. Yeah,
yeah.
it has. Besides, I'd say the only thing for me as like a college student is the food spots, man. Like I think
Yeah.
I just need a little bit more variety.
Yeah.
Where's your go-to spot? Where do you like to go around here?
Ooh, I mean, I'll be balling on a budget.
Sure.
So I mean, I know some people hate, but like Panda, like
There you go.
Panda
Yeah,
Express.
Panda.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Oh,
Oh,
what's
what?
your go-to
I'm
spot
saying
here?
here. You
Yeah,
saying
here. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And shoot, Winco chicken strips.
Winco chicken strips will never disappoint.
Winco Deli. Come
I
on.
promise you.
Nah, but
No. Yeah.
there's a
I
lot of
just
like
wanna see
restaurants though, and it's like I ain't got money like that. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And after basketball game, my bad. After basketball games, it's like it's already 9:00 and everything's shut down.
Right.
Everything but McDonald's.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Taco.
Like,
Day,
I just
Taco
played a
Bell.
game. I'm not trying to eat big nuggets and fries. And,
Yeah, that's about what we got.
Yeah,
or,
back
or
in the
Winco.
box.
That's about what's open after
Yeah,
9
sure.
o'clock. So talk about like just obviously, especially now that the season is in full gear and everything's going. We're getting ready for this tournament this weekend. Talk about this. Not as much free time with
Right.
class and everything, but talk about what you guys like to do in your free time when you have it.
I don't know.
What are you doing,
He's got that. I don't know if I have free
Yeah, I
time.
was saying,
Sleep?
Yeah.
Our free time is basketball.
Yeah,
Really.
yeah.
We're not in the gym.
Yeah, I'd say a lot of like for quite a bit of us, it is like okay, if I have some free time, yeah, I'm gonna go get some shots up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We get better.
But I don't know. We hang out as a team. I mean, this isn't like coach will give us. Yeah, but we'll go out as a team and eat.
Mhm.
And like that'll be kind of like an event for us. Like,
Right.
honestly, like not. I mean, that's fun. Like we're just hanging out with the guys.
Mhm.
Shoot, other than that, man.
I would say other than that, I play some Xbox here and there, you know.
Mhm.
Or I'd be watching my little animes I like to watch. But that's about it.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
No.
Nothing crazy.
You have to bring him up to your plates and let him see all your video games you got on the walls. And
Ooh, what you be playing?
I'm old. I got so many old stuff.
Are you gonna get the new Modern Warfare 2?
No,
Just
I don't play with people online because
Okay.
my hand-eye coordination is not what it used to be, and
Yeah.
I don't like getting mad.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd rather just
I
get
feel
mad at
that.
the computer.
Nah, the
Yeah.
rage is crazy.
The rage is crazy.
And actually, it's not even rage that I get killed. It's just then the teammates yell at me. So I'm like, guys, I'm like twice your age. Leave me alone. Or for some of them, I'm 3 times your age.
yeah, really.
now you know how
Really?
I feel when
Right.
you and I play Madden and I get crushed every time. I think I do good, and then
Yeah,
I need
at
that new
least-
NCAA to come out. NCAA
Yes.
football.
I am.
Yes,
so
I'm with
bad.
that.
That's gonna
At least my son, while 14, is still not as good as me at video games, so I can still crush him in most of that stuff.
You wait-
It helps that I pick the games.
Right.
I stay away from those Fortnites and stuff.
Yeah.
So we're looking Thursday. We've
Mhm.
got Park Gilbert, 5:30 p.m. on that one. Saturday we're playing Rocky Mountain, 4:00, and then they will play. Those two will play off at each other on Friday at 2. What are you looking forward to both of those games? Somebody we need to watch, or who are we focusing on those ball clubs to try to shut down?
No.
We haven't got that deep.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
We haven't.
Yeah.
Because they just released their roster yesterday,
Oh wow!
and they're about to play. They played tonight, but it's a closed exhibition, so we're trying to
Oh,
get our
yeah.
hands in the
Yeah.
film somehow.
Yeah, for Park, I mean, they just have, from what the coaches said, they have a lot of new guys, like a whole new team.
Yeah.
So they don't. It's tough with that. Rocky, how we do is we gonna prepare for Park first,
Right.
Mhm.
and then as soon as that game's done, the next morning.
Yeah, it helps
Right.
that you have that extra day
Yeah,
off in
right.
between too.
But I just say, regardless of their personnel, like I'm just excited to get that sour taste out of our mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yep.
ACU, it was great to learn all that, like good experience for us.
Yeah.
But like I was I guess disappointed in just like how we played, really. Like and how I play. Like, I don't know. You know, it's good to play another basketball
Right.
game
I think
after that one.
I think we all went there with the impression we were going to play a lot better than it turned out.
Yeah.
So I think these next 2 games are going to be big statement games for us.
For sure.
And then before I let you go, I would be remiss if I didn't bring up the 2 local boys that joined the team this year. Lustig from Colfax, Hunt
Bucky.
from Pullman. Just kind of talk about those 2 kids.
You got John. I got Grayson.
I wanted Grayson, but
Okay, you got
that's okay. I don't care.
You got Grayson. I got John.
Yeah.
I'll do John.
'Kay.
John is he's a very skilled basketball player, and he's gonna be very special at LC State for sure. I think for him it's just because he came from Colfax where he was the guy averaging
Right.
30 points a game
At least.
Yeah, to be player of the year. So he comes here to a program where it's like we want to play basketball the right way, no ISO. We want to swing, get open shots, easy buckets, and defend. So I think for John, it's just learning to find how he can kill, because he can kill. He can get points by a
Shooter,
snap of
man,
a
yeah.
finger. But how he can kill within the system.
Mhm.
But he's going to be very special. I'm looking forward to how he plays next year and the year after that for sure.
Yeah, I know. Last year, like you said, he was a senior at Colfax, working at the Tribune, and I'd call in
Okay.
games and
Hmm.
Lustig 32 points. That's
30.
it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, he's a
Right.
killer for sure.
Yeah. Grayson Hunt, G baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man. Dude, he was supposed to redshirt. Obviously, with the injuries and all that, I believe that is not happening anymore,
Mhm.
which is totally good. I think that he's totally ready. I know the way that, not that I'm a big man or whatnot, but you get switched on to a big, and like, I don't know, you can just tell how he moves, and he has great hands, and like his IQ for the game is actually really impressive. Not to hate on bigs, but a lot of bigs, like, they're clumsy dudes.
Mhm.
They don't know what's happening out there. But like with Grayson, that's not the case, which is awesome. And yeah, man, that boy, I've been impressed. He's a quiet kid, but like, honestly, he's been talking a lot on the court and off the court, which is great. And, you know, I've just seen him kind of like, I wouldn't say blossom. Like, he's
Nah,
not,
that's cool.
he's
You
not
could
like a
say
whole
that.
nother person, but like, no, he's like definitely came out of his little shell a little bit,
Yeah.
which is awesome to see.
I would say for both of them, like
John too,
they
yeah.
both started out real quiet. They wouldn't say too much.
Yeah.
And then
Now
out
they're
of
funny
nowhere,
dudes. Now they're
yeah,
funny
they
dudes
be
all of a sudden.
kicking it.
And that's the thing. You know, I have watched Grayson play against Clarkson many times. He led, you know, for districts, and what he could do with a baseball too, throwing the baseball around. He was quite
Does he
well.
play
With that.
baseball?
Oh, he played
He's nasty.
baseball up there too. You know,
Really?
for Pullman. So
What position
I
you
mean,
play?
he pitched a little bit from what I
Ooh.
said. So I've watched him pitch. So he is an all around good athlete. I mean,
yeah.
for what he could do up there. He also played soccer. I mean,
Mm.
great footwork.
Come
So
on, G.
That makes sense.
so
Yeah.
So now you can go and hound him and tell him, I know you played soccer.
Yeah.
If he does anything clumsy, I'm gonna be like, come on, come on, boy.
All right, so don't forget LCSC Warriors Thursday at 5:30 against Park Gilbert. Saturday they take on Rocky Mountain at 4 p.m. It's the Clearwater River Casino and Lodge Classic. I think we've said Clearwater River Casino 37 times in the show because of the fights on Saturday as well. Yeah, MMA stuff going on
fights.
Saturday night.
You missed out on. We had the MMA guys on earlier. We introduced you to Jared and Brian.
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm trying to go.
Ticket.
Get ready.
Go get your tickets. They're going quick.
You guys see the Jake Paul and Anderson Silva?
I have not. I did not.
I saw the result, but
did not see
I'm more ready for Logan Paul and Roman Reigns in Saudi Arabia. I'm more ready for guys, but yeah, definitely check out Kai Ward, Silas Benny. Guys, thanks so much for stopping by. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that
was awesome.
true.
Yeah.
Clearwater River Casino Lodge Classic is the Warriors will take on Park Gilbert and also take on Rocky Mountain this weekend. So if you're looking for something to do in the Valley, make sure you come and watch a few LCSC games as things are happening here with basketball getting underway.
We're just jam-packed with people today.
Oh,
We are not done.
No, far from it. We still have our recap. We still got
I'm saying as far as guests go,
Oh, well, yeah.
we are not done with guests yet. We got one more guest coming up.
Do we really?
We got one more guest.
Oh.
I've not prepped for any of these, but because I knew it was going to be a crazy day. We're going to have lots of fun with them. And Callie Stevens from the women's team is going to be joining here. She should be here any minute, actually. As we go, let's do a quick recap. It is 7-0 Philadelphia in the 7th inning.
And it is a final up in Spokane. Clarkson knocks off Shadle Park 17-7. So at least a home game on Saturday. Possibly if they can beat West Valley in this next part. West Valley did shut out the Bantams at Adams Field earlier in the year. I want to say that score was like 29-0. So gonna be a tough game.
But
here
listen, Clarkson's warmed up. West Valley's not. So
exactly.
In the MAC, all tied up at 20 with 6 minutes to go between Ball State and Kent State. Ohio only with a 7-point lead over Buffalo, 31-24, but they do have the ball at the 1-yard line. Still 14 minutes to go in that one. Let's quickly hit on some college football real quick. As Utah did beat WSU 21-17, not too surprising there. Georgia kind of rolled Florida in the largest cocktail party. Do they still call it that?
I think so.
Yeah. They win that one 42-20.
It was a little ugly.
Ohio State just rolled Penn State there in that fourth quarter. They're going to be a really tough team to beat. So is Tennessee, as they crushed Kentucky, who was ranked 19th, as they won that one 44-6. Big altercation after the game, after Michigan beat Michigan State 29-7. We got to get to the point where they stop going through the same tunnel.
Oh, you have to,
especially for college.
And today, another 4 guys got, so now we're up at 8. I think
8 guys suspended for Michigan State. I've seen some of the videos. It's just absolutely crazy.
Well, as I put in the notes, I play on words. Michigan beats Michigan State, and then Michigan State beats up on 2 Michigan players. But yeah, now we're up to 8 guys that are just not a good thing. They need to change that. That's the second time it happened again against Penn State a couple weeks ago.
And I think the craziest result this weekend was Kansas State not just beating Oklahoma State, but winning 48-0.
Yeah, blanks them out. Just total domination by Kansas State. So.
And then finally, Idaho did everything they could against the number 3 team in
they keep it close.
The FCS. I always get those flipped.
Yep.
But Sacramento State does win 31-28. But good job for the Vandals, as now they will take on Eastern Washington. Luckily, that's at Idaho, so I can watch it, because I refuse to ever watch anything from Eastern Washington because that field is horrible.
Yeah. So with that being said, the biggest move has to be Kansas State moving up the rankings, going up 9 spots to 13th. So your top 4 is Georgia, Tennessee, Ohio State, and Michigan. Couple of teams dropping out of the ranks: Kentucky, Cincinnati, and South Carolina. But new to the rank, UCF. They've got a big matchup this weekend. Looking forward to that one.
If time permits, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that here shortly too.
All right, let me get this set up and introduce our guest number 5 tonight. What the heck is going on?
We got a lot of guests tonight. It is another.
She's the only one brave enough to show up by herself.
By herself. She didn't bring any reinforcements. And Miss Callie Stevens, how are you there, young lady?
I'm doing good. How about you guys?
Yeah, it's been a busy night. We've had MMA fighters in here. Just had two LCSC basketball players. Now you're the brave one to come in all by your lonesome.
I would have brought a teammate. I didn't know I could.
Nah, you don't need one. So how are things going? Obviously, you had your first game of the season, a tough loss against Westmont. Just kind of talk about that opening game. Tough opponent, but probably not the outcome you were hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, Westmont's a very good team, number 2 in the country.
Mhm.
So it was quite a bit of fun to play them and get to play against their point guard, their 5th year. She's an first team All-American player of the year. And so I learned a lot from watching her play. But definitely we learned a lot about our own team. Like, we have some things we had to work on, so we've been focusing on that in practice. But I'm really proud of the way we fought back at the end. You know, we could have just rolled over, but as a team, we came together and just really fought back. And I mean, we kept it close with the number 2 team in the country. So
Yeah, I
I'm
think
really proud of us.
You got it back within 5, I think, late in the
Yeah.
3rd, maybe early 4th, and then it slipped back away a little bit. One thing, well, just at the negative first, and then we'll talk about the good things that I saw. I was able to watch most of the game. I was there with Addie, so you know how difficult that could be.
She keeps you busy.
I loved how she begged for popcorn the entire first half. I bought her popcorn. She ate 3 pieces of popcorn the whole game, but here or there. But rebounding was a big issue. How much have you been able to kind of work on that, getting ready for your games this weekend?
Oh, yesterday was a rebounding practice.
Yeah.
Definitely. And we watched some film on Sunday because we were doing our shoot-a-thon. So we watched some film, and coach basically said rebounding is what killed us.
Mhm.
So we just need to get better at it. And so we know what we need to do. Rebound on the backside. I was at fault a couple times. I didn't find a body. And so yeah, we did a lot of rebounding drills yesterday, and I think they're fun to do. And I think it gets really competitive in practice, which obviously brings up the intensity and then gets us ready for the game. So
you guys bring back a lot of the point scorers from last year. I think Alicia told me it's like 85% of the points scored last year back on the team, but there are still a lot of newcomers, especially on the back end of the roster. How have you guys been able to meld together as you get into the season?
I think I'm really proud of our freshmen right now. You know, they're stepping into that role. We have, I think, 4 that are playing, and them seeing some minutes on Saturday was really good for them. And I thought they did really well, you know, considering it's their first game, everybody gets the jitters. And I thought they handled themselves with composure and did a great job. And I think they're meshing well with us. You know, at practice, we switch up the teams and stuff, and you wouldn't know new. So
we talk about it really quick. We'll bring up a name and one that we've known for a long time, Hannah Broyles. Sets a career high with 21 points in that game. Senior, one of the leaders. You have to look at the same way where you're at with your junior year. Where are we at as far as with their leadership with the new girls on the team? You know, we look at Camden Barger, who is from Grangeville that we've known about. Also, Matea Green, the youth of this ball club.
I think they've done a really good job on the court with getting their intensity up, you know, getting them from coming from high school. Practices are a little different. And I thought her and Sarah have done a good job with, hey, let's get this intensity up. Come on. In a positive way, not in a negative way or anything. So I think they've done a really good job just connecting with the girls on that way. We did have a couple talks saying, hey, we need to get our intensity up at practice. And these last couple weeks have been really good. So I think they've done a good job with that.
Speaking of your intensity, I forget. I want to say it was in the 4th quarter, but you had I don't know if you remember it, but I was watching it. It looked like you had a pretty interesting conversation with one of the refs.
Oh, yeah, that was I thought he was giving me the foul, and I looked like he was asking me for my number. So I was like, oh, I'm 21. He's like, well, I thought it looks like I think this person has more fouls than you, so I'm going to give you the foul. And I was like, wait, what? That's not how it works. And then he gave me, I go, now I have 4 fouls. Oh, I was like, oh, okay. So I was like, okay.
Yeah, I just looked at a foul goes up and you just see Callie just whatever. Just puts up her hands up as far as 21 or whatever. And then they had a little conversation with the free throws. And you
I know.
can
I was like, what is
kind of tell
happening?
there was some smirks and laughter going on, but it looked like a fun little
I
conversation
was
going
like,
on.
what is happening right now? I don't think that's how it works. But I was like, you know what? That's what it is. There's no fighting it.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I haven't followed as much college officiating, but I know high school level, they're so in need of all kinds of officials. I saw an article from, I want to say it was the Fife area, that they're bringing in actual students to mirror the guys that are on the field now for when they step out for next year, so they're ready to do, if they're a college student, they can come out and start working the football field, doing junior high levels and that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, it is hard to find refs. Like this summer, I refed some summer leagues, and I was like, no wonder it's hard to find refs because parents are brutal. I was like, they're yelling at me, and it's JV basketball. It's summer league where it doesn't really matter if you win or lose. And I was like, are we serious right now? So I could not imagine being a ref in college because it's way more brutal. Not only do you have the players, you have the student sections, the fans, the coaches. So props to them.
It's a tough job. We know a couple of the refs for sure. You now get to kind of look at the other side. You don't do reffing or anything with this, but you do help with Alicia, and you helped out a lot with the volleyball. Just kind of talk about working under Alicia and what you've been doing with her.
First off, that girl is the hardest worker I think I've ever seen in my life.
100%.
Like, just living in her shoes after games, it's like, oh my gosh, I did not know how much went into this job. Like, you work so hard, and she does a fantastic job showcasing all of her athletes. I've learned is this might be a career path for me. She's definitely changed my mind on it, so I'm excited about that. And she is just such a great teacher. She, like, if I have a question, like, I'll ask her about Photoshop. Can you teach me? Oh yeah, I'll teach you. And she's taught me a lot about our website, our athletics website, and just what it means to like build relationships with athletes as well. Like, just seeing people will just come up and say hi to her in her office, and she's just so warm and welcoming. And yeah, she's a fantastic boss. Great mentor to look up to, as not only as a boss, but as just a person in general.
Well, definitely as somebody that has been around Alicia for the last, well, I guess 2.5 years. I wasn't around for volleyball my freshman year, but being around here for that long and then seeing the lack of stuff I get from the other schools, she just goes above and beyond. So I'm just saying, if she does talk you into that career path, there are several schools just in this conference that are desperate for anyone that's even close to her ability. So I think there's a lot of good opportunities for you if you go that route.
Listen, that'd be even nicer for even athletic department, AD in the high school level. I tell her all the time, and I know I tell her, thank you, because the things I get for high school stuff is nothing compared to the data, the pronunciations, all the stats that she puts in, time that she puts in.
Well, it's not even that. It's like, what were they? Multnomah was the last volleyball game, and they haven't even had season stats since 2018.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, it's crazy. So what kind of stuff do you do with Alicia? Because I know I see you running around with the camera and stuff for volleyball.
I really like taking pictures. I think that's a lot fun. I've started to learn volleyball. All the sports are different. Volleyball, they never stop moving, so it's extremely hard to get a picture of them, but I started to get the hang of it. I also will sit there and help out with the stream. Like, one of the games, I ran the TriCaster because Daniel wasn't able to come. I was
he had to listen to me for 2 hours. Apologies for that.
All good. Then I'm a runner with the stats, and I'm just like her. She doesn't need me for that stuff. I'm just like her go-to. Like, hey, I need you to go check the stream, make sure it's like ending on time, or go set up the cages for the interviews post game. And then post game is when she really like uses my help because I get like the XMLs and upload it to the website and help get the stories. I don't write them, but get like the templates ready for like to send out to the media and everything.
And it's not a long ways away from game time ending. I mean, she has stuff up within an hour.
Crazy quick.
Yeah,
and so she writes all those. People don't know she writes all those stories by hand. Like, that's not like a template she uses, and she's here late. Like, especially on what is it? Fridays they start at 7.
Mhm.
We end if it's like 4 sets? 9.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here till like 11. And it's crazy. First person here, last person leave. That's what she is. And she is such a hard worker.
So now, as an athlete, has that changed your perspective as an athlete to try to help her out or those in that
Definitely.
profession out?
Oh, definitely. Just like on media days, making sure like when she tells us to do something the first time, listen to her because now I see this is what she wants and I understand why she wants it that way because it's easier for her and just being like just getting to know her. You know, I'm on the CCC SAC and just listening to Sammy, the CCC. She's like, get to know your SIDs. They're good people and they care. And Alicia is a fantastic person and she genuinely cares for each one of her athletes. And that's like I said earlier, she does a fantastic job showcasing every one of her athletes. And her stories are just, she writes it from her heart and everything is from the heart with her.
Yeah, she'd posted a picture after the volleyball. You can tell she definitely cares
Loves
about
her athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. Switching from volleyball back to you guys and kind of melding it together. I wanted to bring it up to Kai and Silas. I think it would be even more fun if they did it. But now that you have been around, the volleyball team a lot this season, I want to see. I mean, obviously, Coach probably would get really mad at me for even bringing this up. I want to see your timeouts being as enjoyable as the volleyball teams and doing whatever weird dance routine they do in between timeouts. Now that you've been around it, you need to implement that to basketball.
I will try. I will definitely try.
I don't know how Coach Orr would like that. I mean, then he gets in that huddle, but yeah. I saw a video, I want to say volleyball from last year. They actually had Sean dancing out there.
Oh, yeah. He danced in one of the ones. I actually got a picture of it because I was up on the top level. And I was like, oh, my God, is he dancing down there? I was like, oh, wow. I'm shocked. One time I watched him, they pulled in one of the student trainers. And he was just like, oh, my God, what am I supposed to do in here? But he danced. And I was like, wow. They pull in anybody and everybody they can find.
Yeah, we need that in basketball. That's what we need.
Our timeouts aren't long enough.
Yeah, they're really quick, and so you don't get much in there. So let's turn our focus to this weekend, and we'll look a little bit into big doubleheader this weekend versus Rocky Mountain. Friday at 5, Saturday at 2. What should we be looking for against Rocky Mountain?
I think they're an experienced team. From what we've heard so far, we've got into a little bit of their stuff, but their experienced team have a very experienced point guard. I think she's a 5-year, so she knows what she's doing. I think our main focus is just rebounding and just worrying on that and executing both our offense and defenses to the way.
Junior here, so you got a little bit of time, but how is getting that balance of school and especially now helping with Alicia and stuff too, and now basketball, how has that balance kind of been for you this year?
It's been pretty good. My schedule has been this semester has been a little light, not taking too many credits, but just finding that time to make sure I know to get my homework done. I try to get it done earlier in the week, especially now with like games on Fridays, and I have one class where everything is due on Saturday, and that's just such unfortunate timing. So I definitely try to get everything done on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, just so I know I don't have to worry about that. And then Alicia is really helpful about working around my schedule. If I can't, say if I can't go in on Monday, I usually work Mondays and Thursdays for 2 hours, so it's not too much time, but get a lot done in that amount of time. She'll be like, oh, you can come in on a different day. So she works really well.
Are you mostly online or?
I go into her office. There's like a desk in there for all our interns, and I decorated it, so it's super cute. So I like to go in there, and it's fun to go in there. I drew on a balloon a couple days ago, and hopefully Randall's still floating around.
Randall.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like it.
How did you decorate it then with your desk? What have you done? Please tell me you've done something away from the Angels stuff. Maybe find a.
Oh yeah. I put a fake plant on there. You got a little tether ball. She put a basketball on the desk, even though the other interns aren't basketball players. But she put a basketball on the desk. So that's really hard.
I've always wondered. I mean, we see so many different people in and out. Who all works with her besides you? Addie works with. Addison works with. Who else is up there with you all the time?
So for Alicia's interns, it's me, Joe Ball on the baseball team, Joe Canny on the baseball team, Shanna Hart on the volleyball team, and I think she might be picking up one more because she's losing me on game days. Because because I'll be playing. She goes, I was like, oh, I can work. She goes, you're going to be playing. She will not let me work if I'm playing. Like, she won't let me work a men's game, which I really appreciate because I would do it. But I need my rest.
Yes, absolutely.
So those are the people as of right now. And I really like that she sticks with athletes too. You know, she could probably find other people, but it's nice that we can bond together.
There you go.
So you got the big 2 games this weekend, but just kind of look big picture. I know it's difficult, especially once you get into the season. You're just looking for that next game. But again, had a pretty good year last year. We still groan about the 2 COVID losses, but it was still a really good year until it stumbled a little bit at the end with in tournament time. But you bring back a lot of the starters, young in the back half. Is it one of those where we'll see how it grows throughout, and then by the end of the year we want to be really strong, or do you guys think you can be pretty strong right now?
I think we could be strong right now. We're a little young with like people coming in, but once they get everything, a couple of games under their belt, they'll be, what's new? You know what I mean? Like they'll get the plays and everything, and they're catching on really fast, and I think they're gonna mesh really well. And then once we get there, then we can start running with it, and I think we could be strong all year.
All right, so I would let you get out of here and have a big weekend again, Friday and Saturday with 5 p.m. and on Friday 2 p.m. on Saturday, both against Rocky Mountain. It's kind of weird to have a doubleheader in basketball, but that's kind of what we have this weekend. Usually I think last year the girls had their own little tournament, but I guess only Rocky Mountain was brave enough to come play you guys this weekend.
I think a team dropped out of the tournament, so eventually, because we enjoy playing in that tournament. It's a lot of fun, especially on your home court.
Right.
Play tournament. So.
Yeah, definitely go over to the P1FCU Activity Center for both the men. They play Thursday and Saturday. Women play Friday and Saturday. It's a decent crowd, I think, for the Westmont game.
Oh yeah, especially at 12.
For a noon game. Need it to be crazier in there. So definitely go over there this weekend and root on both the men and the women. So
will Addie be coming? Should we come to watch?
I'm trying to think of what was going on Friday. Because I will be there for the men's game that does not involve LC to call that for Alicia at 2. So I probably won't have Addie then. And no, actually, I know she won't be there because I just remembered I'm covering the Kendrick game. So I won't be there Saturday either. But
yeah, it'll be interesting as we'll touch base with this here in a minute. Clarkson up right now. It's 6-0 in the Kansas City game. We'll talk about our Kansas tiebreak. So I know I keep saying it. So
jeez.
We want to thank Callie Stevens for joining us here tonight, and good luck on the great 2022-2023 season.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks, Cal.
Quick update from Pete Williams, who is calling the games in Spokane. Clarkson leads 6-0. 3:16 left to go in the first half of the game number 2. Steinwan connected with Landon Taylor for a 39-yard pass play. Bad snap on the extra point. So 6-0 with that one.
All right. You ready for speed round?
Yeah, speed round. Let's go.
Speed round the rest of the show.
Where
it's been a wild one. 5 people in studio, and we're all lost. Let's get to our pick'ems real quick. You did gain 2 games on me. You went 12-4, very good week. 6-4 in high school. You went perfect in college. I was 10-6 overall, 6-4 in high school as well, 4-2 in college. I still have an 8-game lead, and we're going to start winding this down, obviously. High school's just about done. I feel really bad. 4 Idaho playoff games from local teams. All 4 of them lose. We still have Kendrick. We still have Cami because they both had bye weeks. But we'll keep up with that. Washington, we have a couple crossover games which kind of bolstered things. We can't pick Clarkson, obviously, because we don't know if they're even going to play this weekend. Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll get the bye. But we'll add those in there. So we flipped it. We usually do 10 high school and 6 college. This week we're doing 6 high school, 10 college. And then once high school is done, we'll just load this thing up with college, see if you have a chance to catch up.
I'm going to catch up. I have to catch up.
All right. Let's just go through this real quick. Idaho won a D1 quarterfinal. Butte County, who just rolled Lapway. I got that one right, and I hate that I did, but that offense is crazy. Defense might be better. They are at Cami. Say Butte County eliminates another White Pine League team.
Yeah, you're taking them, but I'm gonna stay with the hometown team and give me Cameo.
Pullman at Prosser at a crossover game. Greyhounds just missed out on being part of the crazy tiebreakers there as well. Say the Greyhounds finish their season with a win.
It's going to be tough, especially against a team that's 7-2, only allowing 132
pretty
points.
good.
So I'm taking Prosser, and that's with talking with my buddy Jeff Place over from Zilla.
Colfax at Reardon. They played earlier this year.
Yep.
Colfax was able to get a win. Very low scoring game. Colfax played some really tough opponents throughout the year. Not the best record in the state of Washington, but I think they've really grown as a team. So give me Colfax.
Yeah, not what they're used to, but I think they've got enough to take on and beat Reardon. So give me Colfax also.
Pomeroy hosts another crazy team that needs to change their name. St. John Endicott Lacrosse. Pomeroy got the big win against Sunnyside Christian. I thought that was really big for that program as they had dominated the lower half of the conference and struggled against the top half. They finally got that big win, and I think they roll in this one.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those games that Pomeroy just unloads everybody. And I think that's what's going to happen in this one. So give me Pomeroy.
Oroville heads to Asotin. Panthers, another team that has struggled this year. Oroville has not gotten a win yet, so give me the Panthers.
Yeah, the exact same reason. No wins for Oroville. Asotin picks up their second win of the season.
Then the other Idaho playoff game, the 1A D2 quarterfinal over here at Bengal Field on Saturday. Kendrick at Camas County. Camas County's not going to score a point.
No, they probably will not, especially with what Kendrick's going to do to them. They will go all 4 quarters because it is playoff. Look for it to be, I'm thinking, in the 70s.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be close at all. Go to college. I'm going to take Idaho over Eastern Washington.
They've just been playing quite well. They almost stayed with Sacramento State. Give me Idaho.
Washington State has been slumping as of late, but they had to Stanford, and I think they get the win.
Yeah, they are a 5-point favorite, so give me the Cougars on the road.
On Friday night, number 24 Oregon State goes on the road and are underdogs against the Huskies, and I do think Washington will get the win at home.
I was back and forth with this one, and I am still on the fence, but I'm going to take Washington just because they are at home.
Another ranked team going on the road, number 18, Oklahoma State at Kansas, who's kind of slumped the last couple weeks as well. Oklahoma State just got rolled last week, so give me the Cowboys to bounce back.
I'm going to take the Jayhawks. Give me Kansas.
Number 22, Syracuse is an underdog at Pittsburgh. Another team struggling. Surprising team with Syracuse being up here this much. Lost the last couple of games, but I'll take Syracuse.
Yeah, I think Syracuse is just going to be too much for Pittsburgh, even though Pittsburgh is the favorite.
Number 25, UCF, newly ranked UCF at Memphis. Give me the Knights.
Yeah, Knights all day long in this one.
Interesting one here. Texas is unranked. They go to number 13, Kansas State, who just crushed Oklahoma State. Longhorns are favored by 2.5. I don't believe it. Give me Kansas State.
I don't either. I don't understand how Kansas State is not the favorite. Kansas State all day long.
I had made my picks before you and actually took this one thinking we were going to be different just for fun. You said no, thank you.
No, thank you.
Number 5, Clemson is a 4-point favorite at Notre Dame. I think Clemson's the better team. They're having the quarterback issues right now. So we get these upsets all the time. I'm going to take the Irish.
Yeah, the Irish at home. Saturday afternoon game. I think they're just going to be too much.
And number 20, Wake Forest at number 21, North Carolina State. Should be a little fun little ACC game there. Give me North Carolina State at home.
Listen, Wake Forest is licking their wounds from getting crushed last week. I think Wake Forest bounces back and wins this one, even with the points.
And then the big one. By the AP poll, it's number 1 versus number 2.
I think that is.
But
easily.
in the College Bowl playoff series thing that they just came out with while I was on my way down here today, Tennessee is 1, Georgia's 3.
Yep. Ohio State is 2.
Is 2, and Clemson is 4. Alabama's down to 6, which was surprising. But number 2, Tennessee, number 1, Georgia. Big one there. Bulldogs are an 8-point favorite. Tennessee continues to be overlooked. Go look at the schedule that they have had to play. Then go look at the schedule Georgia has had to play. Give me the Vols.
Yeah,
Straight up.
Yeah, he straight up. I think that would. It's going to be a good game. It will be the game of the weekend to watch. I don't know if I picked this game and didn't take Georgia, I would be disowned by my family, as about 90% of them are all Bulldog fans or they're Gator fans. So give me Georgia. That's the afternoon game, 12:30 CBS.
Yeah, I would say I'll be watching it, but now I have to go cover the Kendrick blowout.
Well, so far I might get to watch it. It kind of depends.
Yeah,
as
keep it up.
Clarkson is leading right now in game number 2.
Yeah, once we get done here, switch over to
92.1. The Hank.
there you
FM.
go, and listen to that broadcast. Stay here for 10 more minutes, please.
Yeah.
As we get into it, we'll get to the sports that do not get enough airtime. Oh boy, what a race! NASCAR penultimate race of the season, the Xfinity 500 at Martinsville. Christopher Bell does it again. Has to win to advance in the playoffs. Did it at the Roval. He does it here at Martinsville, and that's not the story.
No, and with him though, he took 4 tires with I want to say 12 laps left. Is that when they all came in? He ended up taking on 4 and moved right back up into the lead after being the leader.
Got a couple extra cautions in there and made it work. And he's a closer, and I'm not going to pick him when we do our predictions here for who's going to win this championship, but it would not surprise me either. Actually, all 4 of these drivers could be really interesting. But the story was Ross Chastain was 2 points behind Denny Hamlin for the last championship 4 spot with 1 corner to go.
I think you need to preface, if you have not seen this.
Yes, go look it up. I wish I could show it, but then we would get flags and all that fun stuff on YouTube. But go watch this clip. I don't care if you're a NASCAR fan or not. This is one of the wildest things you can do. If you've never seen Martinsville, it's a half-mile. They call it a paperclip for a reason. The turns are very tight, and there's 0 banking in these corners. Maybe like 6 degrees banking. I forget where it's at, but it's crazy flat for one of these short tracks. Christopher Bell is 2 points behind Denny Hamlin as far as making the playoffs. Who is it? NBC is showing the triple screen. They're showing Christopher Bell in the lead, about to win the race, showing Denny Hamlin comfortably in his position, and they're showing Ross Chastain with nobody around him, with 1 corner to go. So it's over. It's a good run for Ross Chastain. It's great. Go into the final corner. They go off of the triple screen setup, and they show Christopher Bell win. And then all of a sudden, you just see this car up against the wall crossing the finish line right next to Denny Hamlin. It was Ross Chastain.
He put it in 5th gear.
You do not go in 5th gear at Martinsville.
No.
But Ross Chastain put it in 5th gear, let go of the wheel, and rode the wall going about twice as fast as any other car in that corner. Yeah. Went all the way around, past 5 cars in a corner at Martinsville. Again, half-mile track. You don't pass 5 cars in 20 laps there sometimes. He passed 5 cars in a corner.
Yeah.
And he is now in the championship for it.
It was nuts. As you were texting me, he says, you got to watch this race. Go and flip over here the last 5 minutes. And I was with Dad, and we were watching, but he didn't want to jump ahead. So we watched it. But how many times they re-showed it? And
I've watched it so much this week.
I have too. Just to re-see him basically put that thing in the wall and bury the accelerator down. You see the front of that car just bouncing off the wall.
Yeah, at any point, if something was a little loose on that wall, or you have the exit door that's right there coming out of 4, if that was a little loose, it could have caught the car. It was a very dangerous move by him, but it worked.
Yeah,
congratulations to him. A very video gamey move. I've made the joke to many people this week. I have made that move in video games many times throughout my life. I don't think it's ever worked that good.
Yeah.
Where I passed 5 people in a corner. Just ridiculous move. I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
Was that the greatest pass in NASCAR history?
Wow. As many years as I have missed over the last so many, I would have to easily put it in the top 3. If I couldn't even, Probably have to put number one move I've ever seen.
There's a couple moves like a Daytona 500 where Earnhardt makes the move to get his first win.
Yeah, first one, yeah.
Honestly, to me, it's by far easily the greatest pass that wasn't for the win.
Yeah.
Again, he did not win this race. He just got enough points to move on. The other question, though, and Joey Logano, who's also in the championship go watch his press conference too, because he is astonished by the move, like most NASCAR drivers are, NASCAR fans are. He's like, dude, that move is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It should be banned next year.
Yeah.
You agree or disagree?
No. I mean, he put his race on the line with the move that he made.
But it's a very dangerous move to do. And as Logano says, and I agree with him, it's very cool the first time. I don't want to see this every Martinsville race.
Right.
And now, I mean, as he said, the door's now open. So every race at Martinsville, if you do not change this rule, it's who can get to the wall first and make it work.
Yeah, good point. I don't know. It's just how many guys are going to be in that predicament where it is for
every Martinsville race.
But I mean, as far as we get to the end of the season where
again, every Martinsville race, because it's the last race before the championship race. So somebody's going to be in a must-win situation,
right?
Or somebody's going to be a couple points out, and they're going to have to make this move to try to pass some people, or you're going to have to do it to defend your position,
right?
It's like on the last lap, do you ride much higher up just to make sure you kind of block off the wall ride and then cut back down? Be a lot of interesting things. NASCAR has made changes like this before. When a couple of generations ago, they quickly learned that you can hook up at these restrictor plates, and you had those tandem Daytona races where just two cars were locked in as one, and they were so much faster, and that's all you got were just two cars by two cars by two cars. They changed that where you have to disengage at times. So they've made competitive changes, especially safety-wise. I think something gets made where this is an illegal move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. What
it was still a cool move. But
I think the biggest thing for me is watching the face and watching my dad celebrate and seeing Denny Hamlin not make it into the finals, not make it into the finals, and seeing him just all excited. And when they go to talk to him and he gets booed, and they talk to Chastain and he is like celebrated like
a hero. Insane. Absolutely insane. Championship race, your final four: Joey Logano, Chase Elliott, Ross Chastain, and Christopher Bell. Who's going to be the champion come Sunday?
You know, he has done it twice. As far as needing to win, I think he needs to win. I'm going to take Bell.
Yeah, I think whoever wins the championship will be the winner of this race. It always seems now that people just get out of the way for these four. I'm going to take Elliott. He's done it before at Phoenix. He's been racing pretty good. So, and I'm an Elliott fan, so I have to go for it. Give me your last word. We're done here.
Well, that's one more thing. Upcoming tournament this weekend, the Worldwide Technology Golf tournament in Mexico. Joel Damon will be playing 5:28. He'll be teeing off on Thursday morning. So if you're not watching anything else and want to watch some golf, they're in Mexico playing. Final word for me has to be playoffs. Playoffs? Yes.
What playoffs?
High school playoffs. High school playoffs.
Washington teams, please do better than Idaho teams.
Right now at the intermission in game number 2, Clarkson leads 6-0. West Valley will get the ball at the start of the second.
There you go. My final word, fight. Go check it out. Saturday night, 7 p.m. at the Clearwater River Casino. Clearwater Combat MMA.
Yep.
Again, Jared Fisher and Brian McElroy were here, and we appreciate their time. Lots of local fighters are going to be over there for those fights. And you can kind of have a pre-match checkout, and you come down to the P1FCU Activity Center as the Warriors will be in action, as I believe both the women and men play that day.
Yeah.
I'm trying to scroll through back to my schedule, but
there's all kinds of stuff happening. So it's going to be an interesting day. Whether or not you watch Kendrick play Played football earlier. We're here, LC, watching men's and women's play.
Kendrick will be in playoff action at Bingo Field on Saturday at 2 p.m. The women's basketball team will be in action against Rocky Mountain on Saturday at 2 p.m. And the men will be in action at 4 p.m. also against Rocky Mountain. Also keep track on lcwarriors.com as we get closer the final weekend of the regular season for volleyball. See if they can lock in their spot for the Cascade Conference Tournament. So much is going on. And meanwhile, Philadelphia is still up 7-0, 3 outs away from taking a 2-1 lead. It was a wild show. We had a lot of guests. We had no comments. That's okay. We flew through this thing. We talked the least amount of football we've talked this NFL season, but we had a lot of fun with it. But until next week, that's Robert. I am Randy. And until next week, we are